back to our Maya 20 tutorial series. This is our airplane project we've been working on. In the last lesson, we went ahead and finished our propeller. In this lesson, we're going to go ahead and do the upper wing and support and bring in our pontoon. So let's go ahead and just dive right on in. We're going to start out by dropping in a cube. So I'll just go ahead and create one of those. Okay, it's inside of our airplane, so I'm going to hit W. Right, real quick. Bring it up. All right, so I'm going to squash it down a little flatter so it's about what a airplane wing should be. Okay, something like that. I'm going to work with mirroring on this one just so you guys can have a little bit of experience on how to create something and mirror it over across the axis. So let's go ahead and jump into our top-down view, our four-panel view here, spacebar in this window, and we'll this one's the better lit side, so I'm going to model this side of the wing. That means I'm going to be moving it over like so. I'll use the scale, just picking up that wing a little bit. Something like that. And then I'm going to go to vertex mode. I'm just going to move these vertexes down to the end. So I'm going to hold down right mouse button, go to vertex mode, grab the end, and I'll move it down. Then I'll scale it together a little bit. Okay, that's looking good. Now I'm going to add in some geometry so that I can extrude these insets. See how there's like some insets going on underneath the wing? We're going to want those. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my insert edge loop tool. I'm going to open up the submenu for it. Let's go ahead and bring it down to relative so I can put them in individually. And I'll start out by putting one in right here, and I'll put in another one right here. So I have this geometry right here and this geometry right here to create those insets that I'm after. Okay. Maybe I'll just go ahead and get a little bit ahead of myself and drop some going this way as well. So I can just drop one right in there and one right in there. That way I'll already have this boxed in area to work with. So I'm gonna exit out of my insert edge tool. So you hit Q or you can hit your little selection button. Either or will work just fine. I'm gonna go to face mode. And I'll select these two underside faces. So at this point, I'm going to actually go back to my perspective view. So I'll go ahead and click on perspective. And I can see why it's a good thing I went to perspective is I actually need the underside, not the top side, those two faces. Okay, so now I'm going to go to extrude. And to begin with, I'm just going to scale these together slightly. Okay. So now I'll have a border that will help retain this shape when I want to smooth it. I'll hit G, I'll repeat last command. This time I'm just going to scale in again. If I'm going to push it in slightly, that'll create the inset like so. Okay. Let's go ahead and test and see what we got. I'm going to press 3. See what that's going to look like. Okay, so you can see how it's rounding. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and build off that piece on the side here. I'll come back to finish these guys, but I don't want to add in the additional geometry before smoothing without finishing the actual base shape of the wing. So if you look at the images, there's that little end piece to the wing that's kind of like a fin. So I'm going to go to face mode. I'm going to select these three faces. And I'm going to run my extrude tool again. And I'll just bring it off about right there. Looks good. And then I'm going to go to face, or select the faces along the outside ring here. So I select one face, hold down shift, double click the face next to it, and that gives me the entire loop. Okay, so now I can go to extrude and pull the blue arrow away from the surface, and it will give me that shape. Okay, something like that looks okay. a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Looking at this, make some adjustments afterwards. But, okay, so now we're ready to go ahead and start retaining the shape a little bit more. So I'll go ahead and start out by dropping in a couple extra edge loops that will help me keep the squarish shape on the inside. So I'm going to drop one in right along here. That will help make it to where this side here doesn't round. And I'll drop one in right along here. That'll help this side not round. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how that helped us. We'll go to smooth preview, press 3. That's looking a little more what I'm after, like that. Okay. Okay, so next step is I want to actually also add a bevel to these sides. That'll help round off the corners, make this look a little smoother. Maybe I'll also take these back 3 faces and scale them together a little bit, because that's how wing is thicker on one side, thinner on the back. So I'm going to scale these. So scale like so. Maybe I want these all to scale together to make it to where it kind of averages out. So I'm going to use a function called soft select that's built into all the manipulation tools. There's a hotkey for soft select, the letter B. If you press B, you'll see that you'll get this fall off. If you hold down B, you'll see down here in the bottom left that as you drag left and right, you get this brush. Now yours, it might be so big that it's off the screen, so you can't even see it. So keep an eye on this value down here in the corner. As you drag, you'll see the fall off gets bigger and smaller. And once you get the fall off down to where you can see that it's not going to affect the upper part of the, or the front part of the wing, then you're in a good spot. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to use the y-axis scale. So the green box up here, I'm just going to drag this down a little bit. Like so. Well, that's pretty good. I'm going to go to exit out of soft select by pressing B again. So that turns turned off. I'm going to go to edge mode now. And I'm going to double click these edges here. I'm just going to run my bevel tool. So let's go ahead and select bevel. Okay. And let's go ahead and add an extra segment in there. We'll put in 2 segments. Okay, I'm not really worried about the end gun here because these aren't going to be animated organically, and they're not going inside of a game engine. So if they're going inside of a game engine, you'll probably want to run these edge loops going across and connect to the opposite side so that these would stay as quads. But that's not my intention for this project. So I'm going to go edge mode again. I'm going to go ahead and bevel this side as well. Okay. Looking pretty good. Go and smooth preview again. Also, let's go on the bottom. Okay. So now I'm going to go to face mode because I don't want this interface when I go to mirror. So I'm going to go to face. I'm going to deselect these faces. Okay. I'm going to hit delete. There we go. I'm going to go to object mode. Delete base tree again. And we're going to go ahead and mirror. And you might end up with some issues with this mirror out the gate. So let's go ahead and open up the submenu on this guy, because it depends on which axis you built it, your plane in. If you're building the wrong axis or facing the wrong direction, mirror direction could be an issue. You might need to be negative or positive. Depends on which side you're modeling from. It might also be in the z-axis instead of the x-axis. So let's just go ahead and see what happens when I press mirror direction. Hit apply, and mine was built on the right axis, so it was good the first time through. But if, let's say, just for example, that it wasn't built in the right way, I was building on the other side, and I built on this. So if I hit apply, you can see here things disappeared. It's because it just overlapped and made it where the cut was right where the other one was. So there isn't anything there left when it mirrors. So I'll just go ahead and put this back. Where these merge settings are, don't mess with this stuff where it says border, merge, border vertexes. That means that these vertexes along the border have been merged so that this is one object. So if I go to vertex mode and I grab one vertex, you can see how they're not 2 different objects. This is one object. They've been sewn together. So Don't mess with any of these settings at all. Okay, so I think we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and close this down. From here, I just need to go ahead and settle this thing down on top of my airplane. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit E. I'll just rotate this down so that it matches that angle of the airplane. Settle it down on top of it. Okay. And it's okay that it cuts into the geometry a little bit. That's fine. Okay. So that one's good. Let's go ahead and smooth this and give it its finishing touch. So we'll go ahead and go to Mesh and Smooth. Okay, so this is done. Make sure we go ahead and name this. This will be called Mesh Wing Main. And I'll delete the history, grids transformed so the channel box is cleared out, and we're good. Okay, this is also a little bit closer. It's not supposed to be that far back. Let's go ahead and bring it back up here. Okay, that's good. It needs to be a little bit higher too because the fuselage is poking through. There we go. That's better. Okay, so now is all we need to do is create this wing support, and then we can start bringing the pontoons in and getting those fit together. So for the wing support, it's much like what we did for the leg for the pontoons. We're just going to get into our CV curve tool, which was underneath create and curve tools, CV curve tool, or if you have it on your shelf like I do, it's this icon right here. Okay, there it is. I also need to be in my 4-panel view so I can switch to, so I can actually create this, because if you remember, CV curves have to be done in orthographic views, two axes, because otherwise the third axis is ambiguous. It'll just snap to whatever perspective angle you have, which makes it unpredictable. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow the curve here, and I can see, like, it's a little bit off from the front view. I'm not really concerned about that, but I am going to follow the base shape, and then I'll move it into position in the perspective. So starting at the bottom down here, I'll click one time, two times, right next to each other. One right before the elbow, one in the middle of the elbow, one right after the elbow. So this is making it to where as I extrude along the surface, or extrude along this curve, that it averages the divisions between the vertex points. So I've got a total of 5. I'll do 6, 7, and 8. I'll hit return to complete it. I'm not going to bother naming this guy because I'm going to delete it when I'm done. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to move it to where I want to be at. So somewhere about right there. About like that. Okay. So that looks visually accurate to me. Okay. So now I'm going to create a cylinder. I'm going to pop it right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a cylinder into the scene. I'm going to isolate the two of these guys together. So use my isolate select icon, this one right here. Select the cylinder. I'm going to scale it down to where it's fairly small. Like that. And I'll use the x-axis to give it a little bit of a flattening so it's more oval. Okay, something like that looks good to me. I'll rotate it down. And I'm going to move it to where it is right on the curve. The curve needs to be poking right through the cap. Okay, there we go. Go to face mode. I'm going to select just the face of the cap here, so I'll deselect this chunk right here. Okay, so select the cap. I'll shift select the curve, and I'll run my extrude tool. There it goes. Pops up to the end. Let's go ahead and add in, let's say, 15 subdivisions. Okay, that's good. Go ahead and select these spaces down here and just move that down a little bit. There we go. Oh, that's good. There we go. And support is So it needs to come up just a little bit so it's inside the wing. There we go. I'll delete the history. That'll break the connection with the curve. Freeze transforms. Okay. And we can try running our mirror tool. That might work. Sometimes it doesn't when it's not on the axis. Let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. Yeah, you can see how it just collapsed in on itself. Do positive, and that will fix that. So that's the same thing I told you earlier, where I built it going this direction, and I should have built it on this direction. So when I mirrored it across the negative axis, it made it delete itself pretty much. So the positive axis made it where they're now both visible. Okay, so there we are. Um, okay, so let's go ahead and bring the pontoons back, and that will finish up our modeling session. So I'm going to turn on mesh pontoons. Oh, they are so big. I'll select both top sets, and since they're grouped, all I have to do is press up on the arrow key, and that'll give me both groups. Okay. So now I can scale down both groups. Scaling. Then I can just move them down. I'll just fit one in, and then I'll move the other over. Okay, so maybe a little bit smaller. Okay, so that side works good, I think. And then I will select this one, press up on the arrow key, and then move this one in as well. Okay. So there it is. Our pontoon airplane is complete. In the next lesson, we are going to go ahead and move into rigging this thing and doing some light texturing using some shaders. There are some texturing methods that we can use using UV mapping, but we'll save that one for a different lesson. So again, next lesson, we'll move directly into rigging. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.